Respected elders, educationists, dear teachers and dear students, welcome. In this class, we are to see five couplets from 446 to 450 under the head having the friendship of the great, or seeking the friendship of the aid of the great. Beautiful couplets. Come, let us see them. Tirukural, comments and explanations to the new dimension. Chapter 45. Seeking the aid of the great. Five couplets from 446 to 450. Live 199. Dated 10/12/2025. Couplet 446. The virtuous and valorous man with worthy aids would never be harmed by his foes. A virtuous and valorous man with worthy aids would never be harmed by his foes. Explanation. If a man has virtuously wise and powerful men as his assistants, and he himself is a man of virtue and valor, no enemy could fell him. That is, worthful assistance would strengthen the power of a man as the aerial roots strengthen the banyan tree. Worthful assistance would strengthen the power of a man as the aerial roots strengthen the banyan tree. The content. A virtuously valorous man with worthy men would never be felled, even by powerful enemies. For a great personality sans due assistance would suffer as a lonely tree. Even a great personality sans due assistance would suffer as a lonely tree. At 447, who can ruin the man who has sincere men to reprove his faults and stand by that man? Beautiful quote. Who can ruin the man who has sincere men to reprove his faults and stand by that man? Explanation. If a man has faithfully worthy people to rebuke him when he commits evils, none would destroy him. It is the man without faithful men to point out his shortcomings would get ruined by himself. The man without faithful man to point out his shortcomings would get ruined by himself. Content. Who can damage a man who has worthy friends to rebuke him? None would be there. None would be there. None would fell him. For the man sans mender would be felled by his blunder. The man sans mender would be felled by his blunder. Couplet 448. The poor king sans reproving ministers would get ruined by himself. Though there, there are no force. The poor king, sans reproving ministers, would get ruined by himself. Though there are no force. Explanation. If a ruler does not have sincere ministers to review strongly his shortcomings, he would get ruined by himself, even though there are no enemies to destroy him. It is the kingdom with sincere ministers pointing out the shortcomings of the state, then and there would flourish. The kingdom with sincere ministers pointing out the shortcomings of the state, then and there would flourish. Content. A government without right advisors would fall by itself. A government without right advisors would fall by itself. For the state with the due advisors alone would protect its welfare. The state with the due advisors alone would protect its welfare. Couplet 449. There can be no wage sans principle. A man sans pillar like friends can't get well. There can be no wage sans principle. A man sans pillar like friends can't get well. Explanation. Without capital, a man cannot do any trade and earn money. Likewise, a man cannot get well established without having good friends. That is, to establish a respectable life, good friends are must. To establish a respectable life, good friends are must. Content. No man can have well established life without the right friends. For men of sincere friends would shine on all angles. Men of sincere friends would shine on all angles. Couplet 450. To abandon the friendship of the good is tenfold worse than the evil earned by opposing many foes. To abandon the friendship of the good is tenfold worse than the evil earned by opposing many foes. Explanation. Renouncing the friendship of good people is 10 times worse than the harms earned by opposing many enemies. Renouncing the friendship of good people is 10 times worse than the harms earned by opposing many enemies. That is, reverently safeguarding the friendship of the good is wisdom. Reverently safeguarding the friendship of the good is wisdom. A content. Giving up the friendship of the good is not good. Giving up the friendship of the good is not good. For reverently safeguarding the friendship of the good is wisdom. Reverently safeguarding the friendship of the good is wisdom. Respected elders, educationists, dear teachers, and my dear children. Thus, here we have seen five couplets, beautiful couplets, and seeking the help of the aid of the great. That is having the friendship of great people. Yes, respected elders, whoever we are, whatever the power we have, Whatever the material riches we have, if we do not have right friends by to stand by us, to reprove, to find out our shortcomings, then and then, who we would fall without any foe. Yes. There should be right persons, that is virtuously and virtuously wise people should be by our side to point out. Even if you are an ordinary man, or even if you are the minister, you should have a virtuously wise man to point out his shortcomings. Then only you can keep pure yourself, eliminating the shortcomings that you are having. You must like that. The ruler of your state should have proper advisors to point out the shortcomings, the evils and harms committed here and there. There should be proper advisors. Such kind of state alone would shine. So, Worldman here gives gives advice, points out. See, what are the elements, what kind of friendship from an ordinary man to the head of your state should have, whoever you are, whether poor or rich, that doesn't matter. But anyhow, you should have a proper guidance. There should be given only by a man who is, older than, wiser than, and among virtuous than yourself. Only such kind of people could guide you in proper direction. So, anyhow, respected elders, educationists, ladies and dear students, I thank all of you for patiently and keenly listening to me comments recording my comments under the chapter Seeking the Aid of the Great. Till I meet you in the next class, I wish all of you a very nice and sweet time. Thank you.